Welcome to this live stream hosted by CGTN, and we are live from Wuhan, the epicenter of the novel coronavirus outbreak here in China. But however, as we know, about a week ago, the travel ban has been lifted on Wuhan, and life has been slowly, gradually returned to normal. Just look at the street that we are here. It's a narrow street. It is a 1.4 kilometer long street, an old district here in downtown Wuhan. And just 3 days ago, when we visited here, when we didn't see as many cars as we are seeing today. And I am CGTN Xinchen, and here with me is Huang Yichang from CGTN Digital, and you are from Wuhan. So tell us a little bit about the story about this neighborhood and why we are here.
Yeah, because it's like one of the oldest residential streets in Wuhan, and you can see it's already quite a lot of people are waiting in line of the restaurant behind me. Because in this street there are a lot of time-honored shops, especially some restaurants or like breakfast shops
Or snacks.
Or snack shops. So whenever I passed through this street before, there was always a crowd of people waiting in line for like authentic taste of Wuhan, especially during the weekend or during the holiday. The queue actually can be as long as from in front of some of the shops to even over the next blocks, and especially a lot of tourists will come. They're willing to wait for like 30 minutes or even an hour just for a taste of the authentic Wuhan food. And a lot of people, not only the locals will come to buy breakfast, a lot of people from other districts will drive all the way here if they just want an authentic taste.
And even tourists around the world, because I've seen foreign bloggers from overseas, they actually visited the shop and they tried their noodles, their snacks over there, and they produce all these like clips and post it on YouTube when it was so not. So actually this shop is very popular. And look right over there. That lady's making the noodles, and it's one of the most iconic dish here in Wuhan. It's called hot dry noodles, right? So it's basically noodles but without soup, without broth, and they put all the condiments inside. They have diced carrots, sesame butter with peanut butter. Actually, it's very stuffing. It's very, very satisfying. But what we want to talk about is right over there, right over here, because hot dry noodles are very iconic. There are a lot of different shops are making this dish to Wuhan people or tourists around, visiting this place. But this specific, like fried dough cake, stuffed with xiaomai. Xiaomai is another kind of dumplings, right? I believe it's pork fillings, and that's actually a very iconic dish. Actually, I've heard this restaurant invented this specific dish, and this dish made this shop very super popular, right?
Yeah, right. I think the shop has never advertised for any of its like invented food, but it just got viral on internet, and a lot of people they know this kind of food from internet. Even I think the shop, because the shop owner is at the age of like 60, so they even don't know how to use the internet, but their shop somehow become an internet famous shop.
Yeah.
So I think it's all by reputation and time honored.
So basically what we can see right behind there, we have more like chefs, cooks. They are making the xiaomai. So it's steamed, and right over there, on the counter, that's the dough that we're talking about. So it's a round dough. It's just a regular, made from flour, and then they are going to deep fry the dough, make it like the sandwich on burgers, and then they stuff with the steamed dumplings, steamed xiaomai. And as you have mentioned, the owner of these shops, even though they invented the dish, they are in their 60s. They are not that tech savvy, internet savvy, but they became internet sensations. And let's talk with them for just real quick. So here we have Zhao Youzhi, wife of the owner of the shop. So tell us a little bit, because I've heard that you guys invented this dish. So what's the story behind it？ 就是其实听说是我们赵师傅发明了我们的油饼卷，包烧麦嘛。当时怎么想到了这个吃的？
这个油饼包烧麦就是我们武汉的特色，因为这个产品其实还是属于是老传统传承下来的。因为我们那个年代的时候是75年参加工作的时候，就已经有这个产品，但是呢，好多人都没有继承下来，所以说这是我们就传承下来了。
So basically, Miss Xiao told me that the fried dough cakes stuffed with the xiaomai is a traditional dish here in Wuhan, but like many years ago, not many shops are serving the dish, and they became the first one to actually commercialize and to make the dish like back to regular people's life here in Wuhan. 因为其实我们知道之前您的店就很火嘛，就现在我们复工有快1周了嘛，因为是双休日复工的，就现在客流量是怎样啊？ So how's the traffic right now?
现在那个客流量跟以前也差不多上下，只是说没得外地朋友，没得外地粉丝到武汉市来旅游，所以武汉市的市民还是蛮期待我们这个店里的产品，那个食客这个品种，因为都好这一口喜欢吃我们家的那个面，武汉的那个面呢本身就蛮出名噻，所以我们店那个面开张了，就是武汉就是形势大好了。那个现在的话，就是人流量的话，就是也蛮多，感觉到还是
和以前比有大概是以前的。
跟以前的比的话，就是相当于有1/3吧，有一半那么好，有。
So I just asked Mr. Zhao, like, how's the traffic right now? Because they just reopened about 4 days ago during the weekend, the first weekend after the travel ban lifted here on Wuhan. And they told me that they are seeing a lot of people, but probably only like 1/3 to half of their usual traffic prior to the outbreak. And because I want to ask you something, because I saw these white strips on the ground. 就是我们现在其实可以看到这边有白线什么的，就是我们也贴了，就用那个油漆，这个是为了什么？
我们认为在疫情当中，我们就是人流又比较大，所以说我们就让那个顾客到店了之后，就每一个人就保持1米的距离，甚至1米多的距离，要隔开安全，保证人的安全，就是无感染，就是。
So basically, because right now people are still required to wait like a meter apart from each other, and they have been resourceful and being creative. They need to paint all those marks because we are seeing this is a very narrow street, and we're seeing like dozens of people lining up, wait for the hot dry noodles or the fried dough with the xiaomai. So they need to paint all those marks so that to guide people where they can wait.
And I just heard that they said the cash is not allowed now. So I think that's another way to reduce the risk of infection.
Yeah, absolutely, because a lot of people from overseas, they've been asking if the virus can be transmitted via like cash, paper, bills. Actually, probably, because research have found the virus can live on surface for multiple hours, even 2 days. But here in China, the good thing is like we have mobile payments, so that can cut off the path for the virus to transmit. Because we can see people, they are holding their phones. They have this little machine that they can scan the QR code. So how they order the dish is like they're going to buy it right here with the tickets, and they can pay with their phones. And of course, the people can leave any comments or questions on our mobile platforms like Weibo, Facebook, YouTube. So, because hot dry noodles, you're from Wuhan, and I tried hot dry noodles like on the first day of the lockdown, the travel ban lifted. I loved it, and I've been eating the hot dry noodles ever since for the past week. Do you like the dish?
Actually, as a child, I don't really that crazy of this kind of noodle because I don't really like the thick texture of the sauce. But because I know it's a simple dish and it's just iconic stuff for Wuhan breakfast. And during these 2 months interview, I've interviewed with a lot of local medical workers or residents. Whenever I ask them what's the first thing would like to do when the city is reopened again? A lot of answers is just to have a simple bowl of hot dry noodle. I think it's same as, because for me, before when I was a child, I don't really like this, crazy of this kind of noodle, but when I left the city and I can't really find a very authentic hot dry noodle, I started to like it and to miss it. And I think it's just for many other people when they were in their home quarantine, or when they can't have a just simple noodle whenever they wish, they would understand the importance of a simple breakfast to their normal lives.
And I know people from Wuhan, they hadn't had a chance to eat this noodle dish for the entire 2.5 month lockdown. So, John F. Bohem from Facebook asked us what is on the menu, and I want to show you what's on the menu right over there. 我们看那个菜单上面. So that's the menu. That's what all the dish that they serve. On the first top, they are all noodles, like soup noodles or the hot dry noodles. And it also serves just the regular xiaomai, the steamed dumplings. They also have, of course, the deep fried dough stuffed with dumplings. It's actually quite affordable, to be honest, here in Wuhan, because for the hot dry noodles, it's only 6 yuan. That's less than $1.
Yeah.
And for the deep fried dough with xiaomai, like 10 yuan, it's like $1.50.
And these are all kind of like main course. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you can even.
It's very
have lunch.
filling.
Yeah.
It's very filling. And speaking of, you mentioned about this lunch or breakfast. Because here in China, a lot of people really regard the first meal of the day as the breakfast. And I've heard this saying in the local, it's like in Wuhan, people can eat different types of dishes for the entire month, right?
Right.
So what are some other things in addition to the hot dry noodles or the xiaomai?
I think there's a lot of, because if you are in Wuhan, you will find it, you will never be worried about what to eat, because there are always varieties of snacks or food on the street. So such as hot dry noodle, or have you heard 豆皮?
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
So it's a pan fried delicacy with some rice with minced meat, or salted donut.
Yes.
And some like steamed buns.
Yeah, I want to talk about the dough pea. It's like a Chinese version of pizza. But it's made differently. It's made with rice.
Yeah, right.
With just like this sheets of like solid products.
Yeah.
And they have like eggs, I believe. So it's a very interesting dish. And because as well, it's not just about food. Lives have been gradually bringing back to Wuhan. I want to speak to like locals and people who have been living on this street. I've mentioned 1.4 kilometer long street is one of the oldest districts here in Wuhan. It used to be the place where they store food. So they got the name Liangdao Jie, Liangdao Street. Basically is the path for food transportation. And you have a friend actually live here, right?
Yeah.
So let's find her. And she has been...
it's actually a very typical breakfast scene. So Wuhan people will have their breakfast like standing up or sitting down, or even scooting on a sidewalk. So like what she is doing now. So yeah, let's talk to her.
I think let's let her to finish eating, and she can get her mask back, because still is a special time. We need the masks. People cannot,
So she just lived at the behind of this restaurant shop, and I think she knows everything about what happened in the past 2 months. So can you talk about like the life has been changed during the 2 months?
For me, it's like everything's the same.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Even during the lockdown. So you have enough food. You have enough.
Yes. That when we lock down, every day is like the same day.
So it's kind of boring.
When you have boring to a limit, you think boring is a funny thing.
Oh, well, that's philosophical.
Yeah,
I mean, what do you mean, like?
It's like every day is the same day. So every day I eat, I cook, I sleep, I cook for my cat. So every day.
Just repeat yourself every day.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
how did you feel when the lockdown was first lifted on April the 8th, when you can actually just come out and order your favorite hot dog?
It's like I just missed the 热干面 and missed the streets, but missed every restaurant here.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Let's walk over here. Let's all.
And anything?
Oh yes. Okay. I mean, her phone is ringing. I have more comments. We have more comments on Facebook. Christina Wang just want people to see, even after lockdown is lifted, the people are still going around their daily lives wearing protections to further avoid infections as much as they can. So nice. Thank you, Christina Wang. And of course, because I mentioned this many times during the past week, even though the travel ban has lifted here on Wuhan on April the 8th last Wednesday, it doesn't mean doors are wide open to residential compounds. People are still wearing masks. They are still keep a relative distance from each other to prevent a second wave of the coronavirus. And because right now we're still seeing reinfections, we're still seeing asymptomatic patients, and we still see the risks of the virus coming back. So people are still being vigilant. And Malak on Facebook asked, where is this place located?
It's actually located on very central of Wuhan, the downtown Wuhan. Even though it's not like fancy, it's not modern, but it's like one of the oldest commercial area in Wuhan.
Yes.
But now with the booming economy and the influx of people migrating to Wuhan, the residential area and the commercial area are keeping expanded. But when you think about the old central place area in Wuhan, people will remind this street. And also when you think about the old schools, old food, so it's like one of the first street they will remind.
So actually, this is the neighborhood. I mean, this path can lead to where you live, right?
Yes.
By the way, what's your friend's name? Just
Destiny.
Destiny. Okay.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit, because we're still seeing like we have all the blockades because this neighborhood for safety reason, of course. We're going to stop right here for a little bit. 我们在这里停一下，要讲一下就社区的问题。Because we were seeing like convenience stores. Was it open during the lockdown?
For the first of the month, it's locked. But after that, maybe at the March, it's open.
So it's
open very soon.
But what about their selections? 就是他们的货权吗？当时候。
I'm not sure, but I know that the ice stick is not served.
Ice cream?
Ice cream.
Ice cream, yeah.
Ice cream is not served. But Wuhan's weather is getting warmer. So today is like 27 Celsius degrees. It's already summer here in Wuhan. But when you are entering into your complex, do you still have to get the temperature taken by the social workers here?
Sometimes. Because our neighbors is a lot of old people, and we don't have any increase of the people who is sick. So sometimes we get the temperature, sometimes we don't. But for most of the community in Wuhan, most of the community in Wuhan, when they go out and go inside, they will have the temperature check.
Yeah. And I know that actually you are like a mental support. You are in actual mental support business, right? Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the sentiment around your neighbors during the lockdown, especially. Were there anyone stressed about this lockdown?
For sure, it's like most of people who live here, who is during this time, not only live here, for the people all over the world. For the beginning of this situation, everyone is very
stressful.
and they were very 焦虑怎么说？ nervous, yes. And they have the sleep troubles, something like that. But it's not very serious. Just it's the nature things for the body, for the psychologists, is the nature things.
So people basically get used to the situation. They kind of start to adapt into what's happening around them.
They will have maybe for the first month they will concern, and the second month they will used to it.
That's what I found. Actually, that's the characteristic of Wuhan people. Because when the travel ban was lifted on April the 8th, but 1 week before that, business started to resume here in Wuhan. Like commercial centers are started to reopen to the public. I was very worried if anybody will go out. But I started to see people gradually, because you being in a lockdown for 2 months, for almost 80 days, 76 days. For me, I think it would destroy me. But Wuhan people, they're pretty brave, still pretty brave and stubborn, and they can come out. They started to enjoy their lives back. And you have one of your favorite shops, like restaurants here, right?
Oh yeah, actually the one outside is a very like simple eatery. So I've been here quite a lot before lockdown. I've heard that this shop have been preparing for the reopening, so you can go and have a look.
It's a narrow street. It's a little bit messy, I would say. It's old, it's narrow, it's small, it's packed. And we need to cross a road, so we need to be careful. Ooh. So this is the place that
Yeah, right. It's called Agua.
it's called Agua Private Kitchen. And then we're looking for the owner of this shop. Come over here. Come over here, Mr. Chimbo. Come over here. So what I saw here surprised me, because we're talking about crayfish. Hubei province is actually produce most of the crayfish here in China, and right now it is in season. So you're preparing crayfish for other people， 就是我们小龙虾是今天是进了小龙虾吗？还是？
对，是那个从那个洪湖那个我朋友他们家的那个池塘里面捞出来的，一早上给我送过来的。
洪湖离我们武汉多远啊？
洪湖离我们要100多公里吧，100-200公里左右。对。
So Mr. Chen just told us his friends send all these crayfish to him this morning, like 100 kilometers away from Wuhan. That's the place where it's famous for crayfish, right?
Yeah.
So but before you cook it, how do you kind of clean it up? Would you mind to show it to us? 就是我们在做小龙虾之前是该怎么去清洁吗？
拿一个虾子之后啊，我们会把头给它先剪掉头，然后把里面的那个小脑给拉出来，然后它的尾巴这个有个虾线，这个地方就是一抽会有这么长的一个虾线抽出来之后，然后就是当然在做这些动作之前，先全部洗掉，洗掉之后再做这些动作，然后就最后是全部搞完之后，然后这个地方去了头剪了，这个地方要开一道缝，然后剪开，然后这样东西然后要好入味。
Sure, yeah. So basically what they need to do, they're going to brush it off, clean the crayfish first, and then they're going to cut off the head and like get rid of the brain of the crayfish, and they pull out the intestine. I think that's what it is, 虾线 intestine. That's basic about it, and they're going to cut the back open, right? So, but what's different about like Hunan crayfish here in Hunan? What's the different from other parts of the country? Just because in Sichuan, they also eat crayfish. They have different recipes. So why so special here? 就是我们湖南小龙虾的湖北 ，I'm sorry， 湖北的小龙虾对的区别，对。
OK， 那个区别就是那个，其实湖北这边做法主要是油焖跟蒜蓉龙虾。那蒜蓉的话，基本上是尊重于原味的，就是用蒜的那个味道把它那个小龙虾里面鲜味给激出来。油焖的话，其实就是用传统的那个本地的调料去做它，然后其实油焖跟那个蒜蓉都不会很辣。那湖南跟四川呢，湖南是那种很辛辣那种感觉，就是很劲的那种，然后是四川的那种虾那种辣就是麻辣，就是吃起来辣，但是有点麻那种，有点回味在里面。那就是不一样的，这个对辣的理解是不一样的。
Sure, Mr. Chen told us because like in Hubei or in neighboring Hunan province and even in Sichuan province, people eat a lot of crayfish, but they treat it differently. And here in Hubei, they use like minced garlic, they put it stir fried in oil, but it's not as spicy as those from like Hunan or Sichuan province. And especially in Sichuan, they prefer to use a lot of Sichuan pepper, which gives people that tinkling sensation. So, because like during the first weekend after the lockdown, when we visited you for the first time, you didn't open yet. So are you ready now? 就是我们现在是已经可以出了。
差不多了，现在已经基本上，因为我前天是第一天的，前天过来，然后我就是因为我战友家了，就是战友家里养了很多虾嘛，然后疫情发生了，就是虾卖不出去，卖不出去了卖不出去，没办法滞销啊。我说行，你拖一车过来，我在门口摆着，我先试一下，我不开张。我当时门都没拉起来，就是门口摆着。对。人家买了虾，人家没地方做，他们不会做，然后就要我跟他们做，那我做行嘛。当时下午就去买了点调料，就直接跟他们做了。然后第一天就是从一直卖虾一直到回去，搞到晚上12点多，还有人要抢人家。
前天的时候对吗？
对，前天晚上我到家已经快2点了，就一路上就是哎呦这个家要那个家要送过去，然后因为这里面也不能住人嘛，你只能要么炒带走，要么你要送到家里去。昨天也是，昨天汉口有一家也是要5斤文，然后又是给他送过去汉口桥口那边，然后就是然后想算了嘛，就是既然开了，反正安全第一嘛，然后就是这样做嘛。
So Mr. Chen told us like the day before yesterday, that's when they get all this crayfish from his friend, another batch of the crayfish, and he was just cleaning them up at his storefront, and he wasn't ready to reopen, but people started to ask if he can sell it to them. And he also offered like prepare and cook the crayfish for them, and that's somewhat they got him back on his track. But he's told me that it's still not like officially opening yet, because like
鱼丸有啊，鱼丸还有一点，今天晚上要发一批到北京去，一个他们要5斤鱼丸。
So they were asking about fish balls, and they are going to send more to Beijing.
但是晚上有2斤是音乐学院一个老师订的，有5斤是一个北京那边订的，就是现在已经没有多余的了。
鱼丸吗？
鱼丸 fish ball。那我明天要朋友过来吃饭，明天可以，你要提前跟我说的话，我今天晚上就做。虾肉的没问题。鲨鱼冻现在做不了，鲨鱼冻。然后可能做了，可能做不了。如果说这个，
你晚上再回答我，我现在
因为现在鲨鱼我还不知道去哪里搞。
So they were talking about like food, like fish balls, like shark jelly, things like that. Because I've heard of this, like people in Wuhan, they have a weak spot for food, and that's why they after the lockdown, people just pour it on the street and they want to get their favorite dish. They want to savor themselves.
I think a lot of neighbors like this will come to ask him when can he open.
But before you reopen or do anything to sell your dish, what other things you did, like to disinfect your storefront? How do you do it? 就我们当时消毒是怎么办呢？因为
消毒是那个我们是有那个巴氏消毒液，然后跟水兑在一起，然后喷，然后就是把地上全部喷一遍。我昨天晚上走之前，我再拿水枪把里面全部地上全部又喷了一遍。那现在搞脏了，现在早上进虾找来找去，然后就是有点脏，然后等下那个还是要用那个巴氏消毒液，就是基本上2-3个小时就得喷一次了就。
So basically, you use a disinfectant to spray the whole kitchen and the dining area, even though dining right now is dining in is not permitted. And he used a water gun to spray all over the space here, and he still needs to spray like disinfectant every few hours to make sure it's clean, relatively clean. Right? So thank you so much, and hope this will get back on track quickly. Thank you so much. So let's just walk a little bit more. Oh, I just heard because the store next to Aguas, they're doing some renovations. I believe they're also preparing to get back to work. And I'm going to read more comments from YouTube and Facebook. Jin Wang Hu said, "Improving so fast, good government administration." It's noisy. Let's walk a little bit more. Yeah. Yes, I think it's the lockdown measure did work. I need to reiterate this, why Wuhan was put on in lockdown, because right now there are debates about if a lockdown is necessary. So Wuhan was locked down before the Chinese New Year's Eve, and here in China during this special time of the year we have the largest human migration in the world, and Wuhan is a transportation hub in central China. So if there wasn't a lockdown, even doctors and experts told me that they don't know how to control the epidemic because people from Wuhan, they might leave elsewhere, they might bring the virus to other cities here in China. So they are, and then the government have been trying their best to isolate, to hospitalize all those coronavirus COVID-19 patients. They're building new hospitals like within 10 days. They have the field hospitals converted from stadiums and other public buildings. Yes, I think there are some good measures put in place. And also, Spring Morning Glory said on YouTube, "Congrats, Wuhan lifted up the lockdown." But I still have to, say this. The lockdown measure has been lifted, but people are still being vigilant. Protections are still needed. And and in fact, I need to say, even though we're seeing really busy scenes here on this street, and people are slowly get their normal life back, but it might take more time for Wuhan to fully get back to normal. For example, for Chenbo, the owner of Agua Private Kitchen that we just visited a few minutes ago, his suppliers have raised 10% of his supplies, and he's facing rents. He's facing 2 months of no business, 0 income, and now inflation of ingredients. He might need to increase the price on his menu as well. And he told me that it might need like a month for him to fully get back on track. So we'll probably need more time for Wuhan to really recuperate and to see its usual glory. It's one of the fastest growing economic power here in China. And let me read more from Facebook. Chua Chak Chen said, "Well done, Wuhan. You've come through a very rough path. Take care and stay healthy. Caution should be exercised to avoid the virus. All the best from the Little Red Dot, Singapore." Thank you so much. And the Little Red Dot.
Little red dot?
I'm not quite sure what was that. But thank you so much. And you're right. Caution should be exercised and to avoid the virus to come back.
I think there's still quite a lot of measures being taken, like the fence behind me, because it's as I mentioned, it's a quite old residential area, so it's actually very hard to separate the street from the living area. So for community workers, it's even hard to control the entrance. So that's why we can see they put a lot of fences or the security barrier to separate the residential area from the street. And also, you can see most of the exit of the alleys have been blocked. So they only leave like 1 or 2 entrances for people to come in and out. So I think for the community workers, it's even hard to control this kind of old residential neighborhood.
Because it's old, it's not like, because when we
it's not gated, there's no like closed wall or fences.
It's not close, it's just right on the street.
Yeah,
like,
right. Because it's the most like old housing style. And
Cheng Liang on Facebook asked if we are in Wuchang or Hankou. We're in Wuchang. It's the downtown area of Wuhan. I think that's a good point because you mentioned about like we have all those fences or blockades to kind of group the sections together so that people can actually come out or go in orderly fashion. Because older districts, and we even have a old like elderly care right over there.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's in this like old residential area, most of the residents are elderly people.
Old, yes.
They're the most vulnerable group to the virus. So it's even hard to control the virus.
And when we were walking by, and we even saw like stickers on those fences. They say this section of the neighborhood has been virus-free for like almost 50 days. So actually, that's quite because what we know coronavirus, COVID-19 is, old people are more vulnerable with the COVID-19 disease. But we're seeing right here a lot of communities have been cleared off from the virus. I think that's the plus.
Yeah.
That's
But I think we
one
can
point for
see
Wuhan.
most of the people walking the street are young people, because only people that are still not recommended to come out to get to public spaces.
And I think we're going to end our live stream with a high mark, and we're going back to the fried cake dough with xiaomai place. I'm going to order, and I'm going to treat my crew. Be careful, let's cross the street. And I'm going to show our viewers from around the world how people here in China to avoid cash and to actually to cut off that transmission of possible spread of the COVID-19. 我可以要4个油饼包烧麦，3个热干面吗？要饮料吗？
饮料。
再要3个
soybean milk。
再要3杯这个吧，好吧？
对。
渐渐论述。再拿3个这个。啊，豆奶对。So I just ordered 4 fried dough cakes and 3 bowls of hot dry noodles and some soy milk right over there. And what do we use? We use a QR code on our mobile applications like like WeChat, and scan right over there. Voila! I don't need to catch any cash or paper bill. And how they do this? They need to line up right over here. And we need to go all the way down over here. And we can see the marks on the right here. 我们地下这个白条. So it's like a meter apart from each other. So yes, and we're going to wait for our dish. And I hope that you enjoyed this live stream from CGTN. And of course, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Download our mobile application. And stay tuned about Wuhan, because CGTN will continue to be here in Wuhan for the next month or so. Anything else?
I think this is the first time I retry this, like using a ticket to order food.
Oh, it's a very
old-fashioned way,
old-fashioned way,
but still will get like old memory back. So I'm quite excited using this again.
So thank you so much. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.